That shit went in smooth too. It was just like boop, boop.
Charles IV, King of
Nah, dude, you straight
Bohemia
shot
and
it in
Holy
there. I
Roman
mean, there's some luck when
Empire,
you get a hole in for
long
sure, but
unsuccessful
there's a luck when I make those,
the empire he ruled from
chips in.
Prague expanded, and his subjects
You're
lived in
trying to
peace
do
and
it though.
prosperity.
Well, because as it was coming down, you're just not sure. You're just like, I don't know what to do.
More than 7,000
And it
people
just worked out.
congratulated him on his last
I mean,
procession.
you put it close, and then the ball just did the rest for
The
you.
heir to the throne of the flourishing empire was Charles's son, Wenceslas IV, whose father had prepared him for this moment all his life.
Oh, is it?
But Wenceslas did not take after his father. He neglected affairs of state for more frivolous pursuits.
That's so gay. I can turn
He
off
even
my
failed to turn up for
volume.
his own coronation as emperor,
Or
which
I'll
simply
do
helped
that.
to endear him to the Pope.
No. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I can turn off. Yeah, I can. Um, there we go. All right, I turned it off. Can you still hear me? Okay. Oh yeah,
He
I can
took
hear all of that.
advantage of the ensuing disorder to
I'm gonna go
gain
make me a drink. I'll be right back.
victory in the south. He invaded Bohemia with a massive army and began pillaging the territories of the king's allies. It is here that my story begins.
Whew. Look at that little battle right there. Oh, you'll see in a second. It's in the loading screen. It's not repeating, is it? Hello? 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 Okay, you got it now. Seriously didn't save any of that? Really? God damn, man. Jesus Christ. Did an entire mission and didn't even fucking save it. How's it repeating? I turned the audio off. Yeah. Right? Should not be doing that now. I just turned that shit off. Okay. Dude, that's so gay. I totally turned it off. Well, there's so much to the game, like so much detail in other spots. The graphics, yeah, it's it's better in some spots. I mean, it's about as good as it's a little better than Skyrim, at least in some ways. It's not like a fantasy game though. They go for like the landscape is really realistic. Here, I'll just go. Oh, that might suck a little bit, but it should be broadcasting as good as possible. But I mean, the shadowing's pretty solid. The sunrise, that's pretty cool. Should I probably just overate? Yep, now we're heavy. Yeah, you can overeat. Makes you sluggish. See, there's a lot of little details like that in here. Oh man, it is crazy. Let's see how dense these woods are. Holy shit, I've never seen that before. What the fuck are they doing here? We're gonna fast travel. You can see the little day. Yeah. Yep. You can see the little clouds at the bottom there. Oh, we are gonna ignore him. I can get attacked and shit doing this. He's probably gonna be tired as fuck by the end of this. I should have got my horse out. We're gonna get out here, see what this place is all about. Yeah, once I stop it, it's a little bit better. What time is it? Took him like 3 hours to walk that far. What the hell are you doing, man? Not that much. I do need to get a sweet set of armor. These people are selling sausages. See how much my nourishment is still fine. Oh, I can go wash myself. Yeah, like if you like you'll look bad so that like people you're judged on what you wear. So like if you're like if I roll in the town looking like a knight, like people will be a little afraid of me. That'll depend on how they treat you. You can smell bad, look bad, like you know, there's all sorts of that shit. Yeah, dude, like your enemies will smell you walking up if you're trying to sneak up on them. It's definitely got a pretty sweet storyline. I'm trying to find these fuckers that raped my town and they're trying to take over everything. Dude, they went to the stud farm, killed all the horses and some of the people, but they left the horses alive just enough to where they had to kill them the next morning. It was so bad. I was like, oh, I really hate these people now. Yeah, shit. Yeah. Inventory's crazy too, because you could, like, your food spoils and stuff. Yeah, so you can eat bad food and then you get food poisoning, which has some bad benefits for you. I need to upgrade some of my skills. Oh, dude, you get wasted. There's a trait on here for how well you can drink. Because it's good for you at a little bit. Like, if you drink a little bit, it actually puts some of your stats up. But you can drink too much, and then you can also get addicted to where you're just drinking just to be normal. Which it was like that in Fallout too. I don't know what I'm doing over here. By the way, this fucker can't swim. So I can't just cross. I have to go over bridges. Oh yeah. Mine's up there. That's my lowest one though. But yeah, it's not very good. Am I gonna be able to cross this? Uh-oh. Let's see. Am I gonna be able to cross this right here? Don't go drowning on me, Henry. Definitely no black people playing this game. Man, I gotta play some nigga named Henry? Dude, this is a white ass Skylar. Bryce. Connor. Not yet. Oh, dude, there's plenty of black Joshes out there. How about the amazing racist walking up to the dude? Yo, Tyrone, can I get some gas? No, dude. Dude, no white person's ever thought of Jaquarius. Not once. Before they heard of the, like, Tarikas? He's made that up. One thing about the landscape, every spot is unique. Everywhere you go, you don't see anything dubbed over. It's all very. It looks pretty natural. I'll give it that. From what I heard. I know that sucks. Just turn the sound off. Just turn the sound off. If I do get into a battle, I know. I do need to take some training and fighting because it is not good. It's not good. Is there a path over there? Yes, it will be that. It took me like 5 hours or so before I got past the part, like the beginning. And it was like the credits started rolling for the beginning of the game. I'm like, oh, now we start. Now we start. Yeah, a little bit. If I get out into the woods, and I don't have a torch, it is dark at night. You do not want to get caught. Yeah, you got a map, or you got the thing up top there, so that's okay. The sky is actually the nighttime sky is actually unique enough to where you could probably guide yourself with it. No, yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, they definitely got some bugs to fix because the sky and the storms aren't very good. It'll be raining and it's a clear sky. Like, what the fuck? No, I think they scanned like a real. You want it? Oh, I know. You gotta have a good sky. I really don't know where I'm at. I bet it looks amazing on your 4K TV, actually. I would like to see this on 4K. Playing it live isn't so great. Oh no. Like all the like if I let it sit here for a second, the resolution, I'll do that. You'll see it. Like in the wind too, all this stuff is blowing individually. Yeah. And as you can see, yeah, as you can see it's it looks very natural and every spot you look at it's unique. It's they yeah, you got that first person view. Yeah, it does a little bit. I can also pick stuff. You got to do alchemy on here, but you actually have to know how to do it. It's a good looking game. Yeah. Go to this house over here. If I start running, you'll see his stamina get low. Oh yeah. Well, that's the only thing to add to it now is just graphics. I mean, you can put damn near anything. What are you people up to?
God be with you, Henry.
How do you know my name? Oh, why won't you go in here? It's not a private area. I'm coming in. How come I can't open that? Oh, that door's open on the other side. That's why. What's up, people? Miller? Oh, this. What's going on? Eat some food, maybe? I don't want to get over.
Good health to you.
So far behind. Yeah, I know. I'd be like Tony Romo. He stopped doing that so much. I want him to keep doing it. Oh yeah, yeah, anywhere. I mean, if it lets you, if the woods get too dense in some spots, you got to kind of go around that little patch that's too dense for you. But oh, he's not gonna get up there, is he? If we had a horse, I bet I could get up there. Where's my horse at? Fucker, come. I've known about it for a few years now. I've been waiting for it. I have noticed it's mostly like it's really stored. Like when I'm out in the world like this, I can get attacked if I run into some of my enemies. He doesn't have too many enemies. You kind of take over kind of a douchebag. He's never been anywhere. He's got no skills. Now up close stuff doesn't look so great, but there's definitely a lot. Like I haven't even really gotten into all the stuff yet that this game has for details, just with the way your player interacts with the world. No, if I try to go across something that's too deep, he says go fuck yourself. Where's that horse at? There you are. Somehow you got to me real fast. And you can't carry very much, but once you get a horse, that kind of helps because you can transfer stuff to your horse. Jesus Christ, that's still really far away. Oh, it's because I was... Oh, that's probably what I did wrong. Okay, we need to get to real far. Uh-oh. Carcass on the road. We're just gonna not do anything. I did all this the other day, but I couldn't save it, and the shit never... Like, I thought I did like a mission, and it should have saved then, but it didn't. I totally was going the wrong way here. The little icon they use for them kind of freaks me out. Yeah, I like their little map. There's a lot of scenery that they put in there, very artistic. Very artistic-like. I wonder what that little gated off area is. Yeah, the sword fighting is crazy because you kind of you have your sword up, you dodge with it, or you can have a shield. But you got to put it in the spot where they're either attacking you or a spot that's vulnerable for them. And then you strike, and he gets faster, so you can actually have really good little duels to where they're pretty realistic. And there's not really like a health-based system. It's, you get hit in the head, you're probably dead. Like if they hit you in spots that have armor, it's definitely not like gonna hurt you as much. So you try to aim for spots that don't have armor. We're gonna ride there. It's probably not gonna be very good resolution during this. Apparently I'm just galloping into a forest here. That's what it looks like I'm coming up onto. I think there's supposed to be a town up here though. Some beavers over here. You can hunt and stuff. Definitely gotta cook your food, and you can also mess that up, like, you have cooking skills and shit. If I just, no, you don't have to feed your horse. If I just hold down the gallop button, it'll just stay on the trail there, too. It's kinda cool. Frees up my left hand for jacking off. Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. This is a cool area. Horsemanship. Use it. Did y'all just look at it? So I came up to this town so I can learn how to read. Cause I've got to be able to read books so I can learn how to do stuff. I can't read. Okay. See if I can find me a place to sleep so I can save it. get off the old horse right here. There's a grocer. Also, there's like an economy too on here. So, depending on the resources in certain areas, you can bring stuff or things sell higher in certain places. Also coinciding with how you're dressed and how you're liked in that town and stuff. Yeah, see, nobody should be scared of me. I have just my regular clothes on. Is that church? I'm going in here. Damn straight it's open. I'm here for Jesus. It's not a very good church. Your church sucks. Get a better church. Oh, we got an upstairs to it. Not really. What the fuck is this? Oh, I'm in a private area. Hey. Oh, they're building this. That's why. They're doing some touching up. Do a little bit of jumping here. I bet it's cool rolling up on this town at night. Dude, I got 10 days in prison for punching a cow. That was like right when I first started the game. That was like 90% of the days that I had been on the game. Like, people were wondering where, because like some missions, they're time sensitive. Most of this game is time sensitive. It just goes on without you. People are like, where you been? I was punched a cow. Oh, don't do that. That's 10 days. So what's going on here? What are you people doing here? What are you doing with that axe, villager? What the hell? Oh yeah, people don't like it when you bump into them. I gotta find this there's a lodging place that I missed somewhere. You can just stare at the sun. And what if you kill brain cells when you stare at the sun? He can't do anything right. All my controls start going like I'm pushing left, he's going right. I'm like, oh shit. There's a lodging place around here somewhere. It's midday, isn't it? What time is it? Oh, it's like 3 something. Dude, there's some lodging around here somewhere. Look at the map, I guess. Okay, where you at? That's where the scribe is. Something. There's a giant out here. See, I wonder if that symbolizes something about this town. Like, there's a giant in this town. There's another giant out here with an axe and a lady. He's like, what's up, baby? There's a giant bird. There's another giant. These 2 giants. I love the artwork on this. It's so great. Okay, the lodging has got to be over here somewhere. Peace.
Have you got a bed for the night?
All right. For how long?
How about if I pay you for several nights?
No problem, but you pay in advance.
That's a lot. I'll have to think it over.
Suit yourself.
Can I sleep here?
I suppose I could find something. For how long?
Just the one night?
All right. Money up front, though.
Here you go.
You've got it all to yourself. No one will disturb you.
Where do I go to sleep?
You'll have no trouble finding it. Right inside the door to the building, there's a ladder up to the loft. Your bed's ready there, and a trunk for your belongings.
Greetings, Henry.
What do you want here? Go and play your game somewhere else.
Jesus Christ be praised.
I'd like to learn to read.
You? You don't look like the makings of a priest or clerk. But why not? I've taught all sorts. Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy. You'll need plenty of time and a few groschen for my trouble.
All right. I don't want to waste time. We can get started. The sooner I master it, the better.
Very well. I will require some groschen from you, though, and set aside at least a couple of days so I can put you through your paces. if indeed time is of the essence.
Here are your groschen.
Then we may as well start.
No. He did break his vow, but better than to dishonor it here. May he follow his heart.
Wake up, lad. It's time we were getting on. So, let's see you read a bit. There's a book here on the table. Try to read it.
Will I manage?
You ought to be able to. It's a simple text. Come back once you've worked your way through it.
I've read the book.
Wonderful. So tell me, what have you learned?
That being greedy doesn't pay.
Excellent. You're one of my most talented pupils. You've uncovered the meaning hidden in the letters. Like I told you, books are valuable, and the words that you place in them ought to be no less so.
Does that mean that I can read then?
Yes, you have the foundation. Remember, my boy, the pen is mightier than the sword. To fully learn your way around words will take a lot more reading yet. Now we'll move on to the second lesson, which will be much harder. Many books are written in Latin, the language of erudite and religious men. If you really want to be able to read, there's no getting away from Latin. There's a book on the table with some text. Read it and then come back. You need not understand it, but you should master the letters.
I only just managed the fable about the goose, and now you're asking me to tackle Latin.
You're a clever lad. You'll manage.
I read the page.
So tell me, Distrupule, what's written there?
Nullus est liber tam malus, ut non alique parte prosit.
Good heavens! Don't tell me you haven't had lessons before. Excellent. Well, there's nothing more I can teach you. Congratulations. You can go and be ordained right away.
Thank you, Domine. I'm feeling a lot wiser.
Young master, the good Lord, in his infinite wisdom, gifted me the power to know the fate of men. For just a little coin, I can tell you all the good and evil that awaits you.
I don't think so, old mother. Thank you anyway.
A pity, Goodman. A handsome man like you should know what awaits him in life.
All right, then. Tell me, my friend.
Ah, the Lord will bless you with a child, and it will be...
I'm looking for a fellow who lives here, but I don't know his name. Do you know anyone with a limp?
And he shall grow into a
Ah, he
mountain
lives
of a
here all
man.
right. The devil
But
taken. In a
you
cottage
must
at the
wash
end of the
your
village by the
belly
road to
every
Neuhof.
morning with a mixture of water and birch bark. Every morning till the child is born.
Move along, citizens. Move along. There's nothing to see here.
That's what you call nothing to see. I'd like to know what something to see looks like.
By the keys of St. Peter, this is all I need. We'll have to send word to Sir Hanush.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanush's Captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say he had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you to Limpy Lubosh. Or all that's left of him.
Sakra. Nothing's ever easy. I'll have to take a look around and ask a few more questions, if that's all right with you.
You can take this mess off my hands and welcome to it. As for what else there is to find out, I don't know. But look and ask all you like.
Who was Limpy Lubosh?
A poor crofter and a scoundrel. Can't say I'm too surprised what happened to him. He kept company with all sorts of vermin. He was always getting into some kind of trouble. Punch-ups in the tavern and what have you.
How come he limped?
He got that from some villainy or brawl a long time ago.
Did he have any kith or kin in the village?
None. A loner he was. I don't know the last time I saw him with anyone.
Do you happen to know where he was on the night of the Neuhof raid?
I've no idea. He kept his distance from other folk, so you never knew if he was away or holed up at home.
Has he been up to anything suspicious lately?
I don't know. The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time. But he always kept everyone in the village at arm's length.
When did you find the body? And did anyone see anything?
Just now. And nobody saw or heard anything. I don't know how they could gut him like that without someone hearing him scream.
God be with you.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Of course. Ask away.
Do you know anyone Lubosh used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
He was a loner. We didn't even have any mates in the tavern.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
Not a clue.
That man Lubosh who was murdered, what was he like?
He was a drunk who was always looking for a fight. Nobody liked him much, but I wouldn't wish an end like that on any man.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Well, now I think of it, I hadn't seen him around for a while. No idea where he was skulking.
That's all. Thank you. I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know how I can help you, but ask if you must.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
You could see at first glance he was no good. I kept well out of his way.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
There wasn't sight or sound of him for a long time, and then yesterday he turned up at the church and even talked to the parish priest. I never saw him do that before. Probably had a bad conscience.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I don't think he was home. I didn't see him all day.
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
As far as I know, he had nobody at all in this world.
That's all. Thank you.
Hey!
Damn!
Good health to you.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Sir Hanush gives a job like that to a young fellow like you? Well, what do I care? Ask.
Do you know anyone Lubosh used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
I really don't know. As far as I know, he had no kin. I never saw him with anyone.
That's all. Thank you. The blessings of our good Lord be with you, Father. I'm here in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa, investigating the massacre at Neuhof, which seems to be connected to a murder here. Can I ask you a few questions?
It seems Sir Hanush is employing children as investigators. But ask as you wish, boy. I hope this nasty business will be cleared up quickly.
Did you know Lubosh? What was he like?
A bit of a lost soul. Simple, rough fellow, but at heart I don't think he was such a bad person.
Did you notice anything suspicious recently?
My child, all sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently. People like Lubosh don't know what to do about it, and sometimes they do stupid things.
That's really not a lot of help to me, Father.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing on the day Neuhof was raided?
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to help you with your investigation, but I can't.
What?
I'm bound by certain vows that forbid me to tell you.
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son. And one of those is the sanctity of the confessional.
Father, surely you can't be serious. There must be situations in which you can make an exception.
There are things that apply always, no matter what the circumstances, and this is one of them.
But Lubosh is dead. You can't hurt him, but if you don't tell me, more innocent people may die.
If I told you, I would be betraying a vow that's a cornerstone of the Holy Church. If people believed the sanctity of the confessional couldn't be trusted, the consequences would be even worse than that.
Worse than the death of innocent Christians? Worse than the murderer escaping punishment?
No one escapes punishment.
Father, Lubosh was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who it was, it will probably happen again. Surely you wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the confessional. I'll tell you what. Give me some time and I'll try to think up some way of helping you. Suppose we talk it over in the evening, in the tavern, over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
All right. Thank you, Father.
Are you serious? Jesus, look where you're going.
I've come in the name of Sahanish of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Ask all you want, lad.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
Those that live by the sword die by the sword. I'm not surprised the end he came to.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Everything about him was suspicious. I always gave him a wide berth.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
How would I know?
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
I don't know, since I don't go to alehouses.
That's all. Thank you.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything, but maybe we can work something out. But first, I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, my girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. Then I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovna. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but they...
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch Bernard.
You think I'm too young for the job, Father?
I do, to tell the truth.
Well, I can only apologise for my lack of grey hair and gout.
Now the most important thing. What actually happened in Noyle? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things. But I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
Ale for me?
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home. Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
You're just making excuses. The people who say the church is corrupt are right. You don't care about anyone, only your own comfort.
I'm sorry you see it that way. Really sorry. You've no idea how wrong you are.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ujits is in Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical. Condemning vices. And, of course, describing them in detail. The tongue-lashing about the two popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well. Especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison. And nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay.
My pleasure.
You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too?
Here.
With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs, while Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
I'll be right back with that.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up, and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe.
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. It's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
My pleasure.
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Przyszła bida mora lat, to nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj padł dziesięć smutek, godnielo i rano utek, niech ich małżeński majstat, do wczera żył nesaje prak. Už sejmoj svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejbě jich muži, nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požerem si huby jako poslední jen. Půjďme se váby, ano rada stávy a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem, tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zítra jen tu soudnej den, tak nalej mi hned, ať točí se svět.
Enough of this!
Bailiff! Come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can ride is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
Oh. Oh. You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you.
You want to fight? Come and get it. Don't worry. I won't give you any trouble. We'll just have a bit of a punch-up.
It's not.
So, my dear, wouldn't you like to have a little ring on the bell? No sooner said than done.
I'd love to. And Henry, too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dears. Careful, you don't hurt yourself.
Godwin, you're a buffoon.
Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
This is wonderful.
Ah, bloody oath. And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Godwin, you old goat.
Come here. Oh.
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell. Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. My guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me.
I'd like to help you, but...
You can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look. From what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
Well, all right. Well, I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubosh.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
Hey. What? What the hell are you doing?
Never show up. The swill.
Look, he can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you.
throw up. I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas. Hoc facite in meam commemorationem. Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will puke first.
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is. Boy has a cheek. Creation has given to every man the power by which he might rule the whole world. But that power does not give him the right to rule. That right belongs to God alone. It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, humans, hunger, and chaos. And it is all due to the corrupt servants of God who do not practice what they preach. They think sins can be washed away by money, and they sell indulgences, and that's bad, because sins cannot be redeemed with silver.
Prague didn't do much for his confidence.
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk, prostitutes and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters, Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right!
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They played dice and garbed their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates. Away with them.
We're fortunate to have our good father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
Hear my words then. The church is corrupt, and her servants seek their own gain more than the salvation of your souls. A priest who fornicates and indulges in gluttony and intoxication is no priest at all. You would do better to be your own priests, each and every one of you, for you have no need for such Pharisees and hypocrites to attain salvation.
Yes! Down with the hypocrites! Down with Godwin!
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Have you no shame, you pair of buffoons? I'll be writing to the bishop of this. For shame.
Utterly blasphemous.
Can you believe such behavior? For men of the cloth to get drunk at pigs in church.
So, is our deal still on?
Are you pulling my fucking pizzle? I couldn't have done worse myself if I'd puked on the altar.
Well, I'm no preacher.
Yeah, I noticed. And I wasn't the only one.
You can't be serious. After all that?
All what? All you making a complete hash of my sermon? You were supposed to help, not get me into even more trouble. Now I'll have the bishop on my back and all the villagers. Just leave. I need to pull myself together.
And what am I supposed to do?
Find someone else to help you.
I enjoyed it last time.
God be with you.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Sir Hanush gives a job like that to a young fellow like you? Well, what do I care? Ask.
That man Lubosh who was murdered, what was he like?
He was a strange one. Always drinking, bad-tempered. Lord knows how he made a living. Well, maybe now I've got an idea or two.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
I didn't see much of him lately, not even in the tavern. Not until yesterday in church, as it happens.
That's all. Thank you.
What the hell are you doing? Did I tell you about my wife's case? No, I didn't know not long ago. Always in the evening, while there's still a bit of light, she sits down and gets on with it. And she's quite
May the Lord watch over you, Henry.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanish of Leiper. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Ask all you want, lad.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
Those that live by the sword die by the...
That's all. Thank you.
Don't move a finger! You'll have to answer for your law breaking. I'll find you.
All right, you win. I surrender.
You've been making trouble and beating people up. We don't put up with that around here. You should have thought twice about what you're doing. That will land you a fat fine.
All right, here you are.
All right. Just make sure it doesn't happen again.
Hey!
Greetings, Henry.
Shit! Leave me be! Enough! You win!
Had enough?
Yeah, you got me! Come now. We don't have to get all worked up on account of a scrap of cloth, do we?
No excuses. Hand it over.
Here.
You got the thrashing you deserved. I hope you've learned your lesson.
Yes, sir.